We're set. Okay, let's roll film.
Rolling.
I will tell you a joke that astronomers tell between themselves. They ask you why the dinosaurs went extinct, and they say because they didn't have space travel. Which kind of says it all.
I was 4 years old in 1971. The Apollo 15 mission was televised quite a bit. I was just mesmerized by the fact that I'm watching two men walking around on the moon live. I think I knew from that point I either wanted to be an astronaut or wanted to be involved with NASA.
As a child watching Star Trek, watching Star Wars, I mean, that played a role along with the Apollo 11 mission, inspiring me to become an astronaut.
When I first developed a habit of reading, I happened to be living in Roswell, New Mexico, and there was an orange tree in the backyard. I spent the entire summer sitting under that orange tree and read all of Clarke, Heinlein, and Asimov, and have been a dedicated fan of science fiction ever since.
There's this great interplay between science fiction and science reality. It's a back and forth that inspires both. Jules Verne wrote about traveling to the moon way before Neil Armstrong was ever born. And it takes vision like that because some of us engineers aren't the greatest visionaries, you know?
And cut!
Ad Astra starts out, although we are in search, there is this specter hanging over, what if we're all alone? What if we are all alone? Then what?
This is going to be very dramatic, trust me.
James Gray is extremely research-oriented, because I think for him it was really important to just be inside of the details. And they'd give it a sense that even though it's in a near future that's completely speculative, it feels like it could really happen.
Working with NASA has been spectacular, and working with the scientists of the space program has been just tremendous.
Yeah.
The exchange of ideas and where they think things are going and where they have been. You want to get the details right. I mean, I've asked them every question known to man, and I've called them up at 2 in the morning and said, hey, would this actually happen? Can I get away with this story point?
So we did good?
Oh yeah, this is unbelievable.
It's fun, right?
The way you have it laid out is really incredible.
Good.
You did amazing.
So as long as it doesn't look like every other science fiction movie.
What he was looking for in terms of realism was the physics. For instance, could you fire a gun on the moon? The answer is yes. A bullet has its own oxidizer, comes right out of the barrel. Another example is, can you talk to somebody on Neptune from Earth real time? Unfortunately, you can't. You've got a considerable delay in terms of hours. Also, what would blood look like in zero gravity? Any fluid in space in zero gravity will tend to become a sphere. It's physics of how those things will look.
Robert's obviously a genius in all this stuff because he spent many years doing it. And you guys are genius at being actors, so you get a few hours to learn what you can so you have enough knowledge to work through it.
It was very instructional to me, and they're also fascinating people. There's a reason why we say, well, something isn't rocket science, because rocket science is pretty clever.
Launching on a rocket is hard to describe. When you're sitting there, it's kind of like you're sitting on top of a rocket. And boom, you get this big kick in the pants, and you're being shot straight up. And by the time you pass the top of the tower, you're going more than 100 miles an hour straight up. And so that gets your attention. But when you're up there for at least a month, you wake up in the morning and it's normal that things are floating. And it's normal that you fly like you're Superman to go off to have breakfast.
I was anxious to explore the fact that we, as human beings, we're not really meant to be in space. You can't go outside, the sun can't hit your face, you can't feel the breeze. That's madness. It's not how we evolved. We're not designed to be floating around in a suit outside the atmosphere. We're never going to be built for that. And that is going to have a cost.
I could tell you, of having left the Earth, that there's no place like this one, and how important it is that we preserve the unmatched habitability of this planet. And a lot of us now are looking at maybe making a sustainable human presence on another planet in our solar system, and specifically the red planet, and thinking about all the wonderful utopia that it might be. And I think that we have to consider, at least for a moment, what if we take our human failings along with us?
You're going back to Earth now?
Can I help you?
I've only been there once, as a child. I was born here.
Almost all space travel movies, including some of the great works of art in the genre, offer a somewhat positive view of space travel, which will somehow result in meeting aliens.
James mentioned this quote to me: either we are not alone in the universe or we are absolutely alone, and either scenario is equally terrifying.
And I thought, well, I've never seen a movie about us being alone.
That was good. That's the shot. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Can I see 36, please? Let's get him down.
Whether or not we're alone is one of our fundamental questions, not just for those of us that are in space exploration, but just for all of us as humans. Through theology, through science, we want to know, are we all there is, or is there something else out there?
As the human race has done since the beginning of time, we are always looking for the next place to explore. Because space is infinite, we now have before us this infinite frontier.
That's the ambition of a human being since time immemorial, from the first caveman looking up at the stars. No, to be able to figure out what we've figured out so far. It can be for the great benefit of humankind, and it can be a great detriment.
Humans have made a lot of technological progress. I think one of the questions the film asks is, are we making other kinds of progress alongside that? Are we making emotional progress? Are we making spiritual progress? All of this exploration and all of this technological majesty, what is it getting us, and are we better people?
Sometimes the need to look outward is more about trying to avoid looking inward.
I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be my dad.
Your psychological evaluation has been approved. If you wish to obtain a complete